Hi, my name is Chaz Anderson, and this is my senior project presentation. So I did my project working under my friend named Stetson, and he owns and operates an excavation business where they do dirt work, building roads, septic systems. So this time they were putting in a subdivision, and you have to have certain utilities, and they were putting this one in Victor, Idaho. And in Victor you need fire prevention things. So here they dug, which I was helping run equipment and different things, because that's what I want to get into someday, is owning and operating my own construction company. And here is where we started digging out for the pond for the fire hydrants, so the fire trucks can come in if there was a fire or a forest fire or a house fire. They can come in and pump water out of the pond. And then we installed a fire hydrant. So this is a fire hydrant. So over here's the pond, and we needed to get 350 feet from the pond with the 8-inch plastic pipe, which so the fire trucks can come in and pump from the pond. Then, which all was excavated out, and we had to do shoring for safety. And then here's what the strainer looks like at the bottom of the pond. So as the fire trucks are sucking water, weeds and debris doesn't get sucked into the pumps, which we had to get that custom made for this pipe in this project. Just so when they are sucking the water in, they don't have any like sticks or moss or like grass or sand. I guess sand would still get through it, but and it's lifted off of the ground about 2 or 3 feet, just to make sure that no mud or rocks goes into the pipe, ruining the fire truck pumps. In result, coming back on my friend having to pay for damages to a fire truck. And then the second thing we did was built a road. So this was a county road because it is a subdivision. We started with under road mesh. So under almost every road in that county, at least, and some in like surrounding counties, they require under the road. They require a certain thickness of mesh under the road, just so the road doesn't sink. And which you need because heavy semis and certain things, as it is a county road, you wouldn't want semi trucks sinking in after they pave it. Then multiple roads in Idaho are made of pit run, which is just a really coarse material. It's just the stuff you pull out of the ground that's really rocky, and there's not tons of dirt, but there's enough to make everything stick together. And this road required 12 inches of pit run down the whole length of the half-mile road, and which was about, I think it was about 80 semi-loads of pit run, which is again just like the hard, like coarse building materials, which we dug out the entire road down a foot and then filled it back up with pit run, just to make sure there wasn't any sinking and we built it on top of the mesh just to, again, make sure there's not any sinking and the road is strong. So when semis go over it, there wouldn't be any sinking going on. And then there's road base. Road base is the crushed material and really fine. It's like gravel, but it has more dirt in it, so it all like compacts together. And this is what you cap the road with and make a crown on it for water drainage. And we had to do the whole road about 4 to 6 inches of this 3/4 inch road base, which 3/4 inch is what they crush it to. They run it through a 3/4 inch screen, and anything bigger than that goes into the pit run. But almost all roads have this on them. Lots of driveways have it. Yeah, and it is, after you put it on, you use water and a big roller to pack it down, just so it's not loose gravel on a road, which eventually it does turn into loose gravel after years of people driving on it, but you try to avoid that as much as possible. This is what the final road looks like, and it's just after everything has been packed down and watered and rewatered and driven on to make sure and tested. We had to have the Teton County Road and Bridge inspector come out and do a deflection test to make sure that the ground, when you drove something very heavy on it, it wouldn't sink. So this was after everything had been tested, and we'd wet it down with water and rolled it multiple times. So now I'm talking about my essay on what the project was like main focused on, and it was the safety you need to have while in construction. There are multiple things that could go wrong with heavy equipment and hand tools and cranes and excavators. And my friend's dad, a few years ago, he was working in Idaho Falls. They were putting in a fire hydrant, and you have to have the things holding up trenches so they don't collapse. And it was holding up one of the trenches, and he fell, and he hit one of the crossbars. When he fell into it, it was about a 10-12 foot hole, and he broke all of his ribs, and he laid down there for a while just because no one really knew he fell down there, and no one was really like watching him. And he wasn't really paying attention. So again, you just need to make sure you're safe. There's OSHA, which is the, like, what everybody has to follow, these guidelines that OSHA makes. It's the they're the people that enforce that you have the hard hats, the high vis, the steel-toed boots, your gloves, and they also make sure you have plenty of water. They're basically what makes sure that employers are keeping their employees safe, which at the end of the day is most important because everyone needs to go home to their families. Training. There are different types of training that people go through. My friend Stetson, he had his CDL, which is his commercial driver's license to operate the semi-trucks hauling all the dirt there. And for me, I had my last year in the Technical Careers High School over by Bonneville, there was a class, it was a construction class, and I had to get OSHA certified. So we both had training before this, and he of course had the necessary training that he needed. And again, just making sure you're safe. That's like the main priority, is making sure you're not doing anything that's going to harm you or others. And it's most important that you go home at the end of the day to your families and there's no project that's worth someone's life. And yep, that's it.